Hi, this is Chrissy Incognito, and welcome to another episode of my show. Now, you might be wondering why I'm incognito. This is my alter ego that can say things that I cannot otherwise say unless I was incognito. So, thank you for returning. In order to understand more about this episode, view the previous episode. Happy listening. Okay. Um, so I meet Bob. Now, I don't even know where to start. Okay. He is such a wonderful, wonderful, amazing guy. Okay. But we wanted two different things in life. And I thought him being so great would make up for that. I was also still in the thick of trying to get stable, trying to get out of my parents' house, trying to have a job that wasn't going to, like, make me, you know, have a screw loose. So my situation was very limited. So he's the one that really got me through that job. I stopped walking in parking lots. I never told him that. I never told anybody that. But I stopped walking in parking lots. Um, and we started dating. And I remember because he worked overnight. Um, the startup location, okay. Um, like I said, it had no support, right? It was the director, it was and me as one manager, this guy as another manager, and two assistant managers, okay? Mhm. But most of the responsibility falls on the managers because the director is like, this is why I have managers. And the assistant managers are like, this is why I have a manager. Okay. I will one day get into the whole Adam story of my coworker, but we're not going there right now. That'll be some miscellaneous. Okay. So, this is a 24/7 operation, right? So that means you have to have people 24/7. Okay. So instead of us just rotating the overnight, guess who gets stuck with it? Because my director, she's not going to sleep overnight. She's not going to stay there overnight. And Adam's such a piece of shit that he wormed his way out and told her, which that was a whole nother thing, told her I can't do this. It's bad for my emotional health. And if I need to, I can get a doctor's note. No, honestly, I would have a lot of sympathy, A, if he wasn't an asshole, and B, if this was actually true, but it wasn't. So it all fell on me, okay, to stay up overnight and be the care for, at this point, there might have been like 7 people. It's me and a security guard. And the only reason why there was a security guard is because the property was um, still being it was being the finishing ends of being built. So what was happening is that people, if they saw an abandoned construction site, that they would graffiti or they would seal things or they would break things. So this company hired a security guard um, overnight. So lucky me, I wasn't there all alone with 7 frail people in the middle of the night, in the middle of the woods, because it was like a building that was tucked back in the middle of the woods, okay? So, there really wasn't much to do. I did do my rounds because I was so afraid that somebody was gonna be, like, hurt and me not attend to them, which I'm sure when most people did the overnights, they just didn't do anything. So I purposely, every hour, I checked on them. I just peeked in, sometimes who was getting up to go to the bathroom, whatever nonsense was going on. So, there was really not much to do. So I had a laptop and I brought it to work and I went on AOL. Why not, right? Why not be in these chat rooms? Um, so I had met Bob, and the only reason why he was available that because normally he works overnight is he was on vacation and his body was just so used to working overnight that he was up and he just happened to be in a chat room too. So at this point, he had probably been working at his job for like 18 years or something. So he was married, had has two kids, and was divorced, which we'll get into that whole story. And so he had been divorced at that time for 2 years. So I just remember we started to talk. I gave him the number to work. So this way wouldn't it wouldn't show that I was making because he lived about 80 miles away from me. Um so it wouldn't be I was making a toll call. He was calling in. So we talked and he was just wonderful and amazing and funny and kind and sweet and everything. Okay. So we start dating and there's so much information that I don't even know what to include and what not to. Um I will do more about Bob in general, but this is just going to be a very long video. So we started to date each other and we started to have a really good time and we dated for 5 years. So it it went on for a while and I was happy, but I wasn't because at some point in dating him, I got a better job and I moved out of my parents' house. So now I had a a good head on my shoulders, okay? And now I had a lot of time to reflect of what I wanted in life and how I wanted it to go. And Bob was amazing. He probably could have been in Mensa. And actually, I used to always tell him, just take the Mensa test. Just prove me right and take the Mensa test. Okay. So Mensa is a club for people with an IQ over 140. And he was like brilliant. And it's interesting because in the club, it has people like truck drivers and farmers and astrophysicists. It's not just one set of people. It's not just um, academic based people where you would say, "Oh, okay, of course these people are in it." It's just like him, just average people that don't have average IQs. So he was just amazing, and every time I started to go off the rails before I moved out of my parents, before I got another job. He would always talk me off the ledge. And he was just so patient and so wonderful and nice and great. And I remember at one time, I was having one of these breakdowns because it's my parents, it's this job, it's all of this stuff. And he took my hand and he said, "I want you to come marry me." And I said, "Bob, I can't do that." I said, basically in the back of my mind, I thought to myself, I don't know where this is eventually going to go. Okay. I'm sorry. My throat's a little, I don't know where this is going to go. And to get married, to get me or a person out of a bad situation is not the way a marriage should go down. It should be like, you freely want to be here. I freely want to be here. We're compatible. We're good and healthy and kind to each other. It shouldn't be based on my girlfriend is falling apart and um, I need to marry her to get her out of that situation. That to me is not the basis for a good marriage. Um, so I said, as tempting as it is, and as much as I appreciate it, I can't go down this route. So we dated for 5 years, and during this time, I had a chance to really stabilize myself. and not be in such a panic about living like, I got with Mike, it was like, "I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here." The job had taken at that time, the job had taken a turn for the worse. "I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of this house. I gotta get out of this job." And it was like a fight or flight thing. And then when I moved in with my parents, and then I had this job at this startup location, it was the same thing. I had been in this fight or flight for years now, right? It was always like, none of this is working out and I have no control and I can't get out of this crap fast enough. Okay. So after dealing with that, so that was from, let's say in total, that was from 2001 to about 2006. Okay. So at that time, so it was, what is that, 5 years I was dealing with nothing but this I'm running and I'm not going anywhere. I need a change. I need to remove myself from this unhealthy situation and I cannot get out fast enough. Okay. So once I transitioned to another job, but that was the temporary job. And I took it knowing it was temporary just to get out of that startup location. So it was a job that was based on a grant. So once the money from the grant ran out, that was it. Um, they did make it last for a year and a half. Problem was, as I was, I actually liked it. I really liked it, but it was 60 miles each way. So it was 120 miles daily. That was the problem. And so that takes a toll. So by the time they dismissed me because, well, they dismissed a bunch of us, but by the time they dismissed us, I had had it with the traveling. It wasn't a crowded road. It wasn't, but I had had it. I had had it. It was a year and a half of about 120, something like that a day. Every so often when the weather turned bad, we could work from home, but other than that, there was no options to work from home. So although the job was good, the traveling, I couldn't do that. It was just hard. And they knew we were coming from a distance, and so they tried to make it more, you know, we'll give you a half day today and whatnot and everything. But it, it's just such a wear and tear on your mind and your body. You just get so exhausted, you know.